Yes, sir. What's up, y'all? It's Bruce Whisper again. And check this out. We are back for the final Sync Hustle Mindset of the year. Man, it's been a crazy year. And it's going to be a dope live stream today because we're going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that happened over the year and some really, really cool tips about how we can level up in the new year. Because, I don't like to, I like to, kind of use the motto, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And um, because of this attitude, I don't make you New Year's resolutions. I don't believe in resolutions. I believe in just keeping your foot on the gas at all times anyway. So, no resolutions for 2024, but we are going to do some things and talk about some things to prepare so you can level up in 2024. And it's been a great year, man. So, we're going to do the usual, wait till a few people get in here because I don't want anybody to miss any of the tidbits. It's going to be a good one, man. So, we got somebody in here. Um, yeah, man. It was a crazy year. If you remember back earlier in the year, we were dealing with multiple Hollywood strikes. First the writer strike, which was historic, in the sense that they were um they were debating things that um like AI, for instance, that hadn't been on the table before. Usually, when there's a strike, they're talking about money. There's money issues, labor issues, work issues, safety, that kind of thing. But artificial intelligence was on the table this time, and it was very interesting because, I for one wanted to see how they were going to resolve this. You know, a lot of us in the community, we're using artificial intelligence in a lot of different ways, whether it's, generative AI creating images or video clips, or we're using chat GPT for a number of things or whatever. So um I'm not anti AI at all. And from a corporate or company aspect, I can see how, utilizing AI in a number of ways can, definitely help a company's bottom line as far as, increasing productivity and, you know, is basically just endless the number of ways that AI can benefit, but unfortunately it's going to come at the cost of some jobs, and that just sucks. But you look back in history, and historically it's always been that way. Every time a new technology comes, and it makes life easier for the masses, there's some there's some casualties, some collateral damage, if you will, as far as the jobs. Um even going back to, like, I'm a big car buff, so I remember when, you know, uh, Ford, he revolutionized, the car industry by doing the assembly line. So now he can mass produce these Model Ts, bringing the cost down, and there's a whole industry, from blacksmiths and people that sold horses and horse breeders and all kind of people in that industry, farmers and stuff, that benefited from the fact that horses and buggies were the main source of transportation. And so there was all kind of slander campaigns about how these, you know 5-10 mile an hour vehicles are going to kill people. They're metal, traps, they're monsters, and this and that. So historically that's always been the case. Now, uh in Hollywood, the writers had a good argument, though, because they were fearful that they were going to be using, platforms like ChatGPT to come in and write scripts, and come up with storylines for shows and stuff, thus eliminating them. And I could see that, because these are creative positions that, people take. When someone does something well, it often looks easy from the outside. So you see what these writers do, you know, we see what these writers do in the result of the shows that they create, that we watch every week and we laugh at or whatever. And we don't think about all the lines that our favorite characters are saying that make them funny. Shows like, I used to watch like Two and a Half Men, for instance, before Charlie Sheen started tripping out. And show was funny, very witty, clever, or whatever. And never thinking for a second that all those little funny lines that he's saying were written by other people for the most part, as the case for like most of the shows we watch or whatever. So, but I digress. I'm talking about Hollywood and that kind of thing. I'm not even talking about Sync. Um, but I'm just saying, like, historically, it was a crazy time for Hollywood as far as strikes go, and then followed up by the actor strike, and same thing. They didn't want AI coming in and, you know, uh um, replacing the people in the motion capture suits, with the balls all over them for the green screen or whatever. They could have AI come in and just create characters. I don't know if you guys have seen Real Engine 5, the Matrix demo, or anything like that, but like they're almost there, man. They're like almost there as far as being able to create, you know, super hyper realistic characters enough to where if you give them enough of a storyline and some good acting, then you could fool some people. It's already been seen in like say like Pixar films or whatever. Like now these are comical looking characters, animals and whatnot. But they write those stories so well that you get into the character. Like you'll get emotional. Like um um pretty much all the Pixar from Up to like all of them, man. Like all of the Pixar movies, and they'll get you because the writing is so well. So shout out to the writers of Hollywood, man. I hope you guys got what you were trying to get. I know it was crazy, um, being out of work for that long, and shout out to all of the people that were on the picket lines. I know that's quite a sacrifice to go that long without work or whatever. But we did it too in sync, and so we're going to talk about that too. So when it comes to sync licensing, we were like, we pooped a brick at first. We're like, Hollywood is shutting down. Like, what the hell? Like, what are we going to do? What's going to happen with all the opportunities? And it's funny how that went, because as some opportunities did go down because of the strike, a lot of other opportunities came up. It arose, like as like scripted television went down. There was a need more for like sizzle reels and trailers for those same networks who were no longer producing those shows, because now they had to create um promotional reels and trailers and that type of thing to promote the shows that they already had on there, so they wouldn't lose your viewership. Because the public was like, oh crap, my CBS show isn't gonna be in production, and I'm not going to watch CBS. So no, now they had a heavier need for like promotional material, that needed music, of course, in order to promote those shows that they already had rolling. And in those shows that weren't going to be in production, for the time of the strike, they were going in a rerun. They were still promoting those shows, but they were doing new promos and this and that. Another sector that the spotlight was put on was advertising. Um, uh, you know, Same thing. Those sizzle reels and promo trailers. It's a form of advertising. They're not from brands per se. They're from the networks, but they are advertising those shows. And then as far as the brands are concerned, yeah. Um, Another thing that we noticed that happened in the year is because of, I don't know if it was triggered more so a couple years ago by the pandemic. We did see a huge uptick in the interest in sync licensing around then, but somehow this year, 2023, and I don't know if because I'm in it, like if you have a Nissan Altima, you see Nissan Altimas all the time. I don't know if it's because I'm in sync, I'm seeing sync, everywhere I look. But to me online, it just feels like there's a higher interest. There's been more of an interest um, in sync. Now, I don't know if that translated to a lot of people actually taking the plunge and pursuing it, but I know that I've seen a lot of people out there like, I'm thinking about sync, I'm trying to get into sync and that kind of thing. Across the board, producers, artists, composers, which is a good thing. But as far as the sync licensing community is concerned, from the other side of the fence, we're seeing some trends too. There's been some fluctuating as far as the sync fees are concerned, because there has been an influx of people entering sync as newbies, I'll say. um that's given uh it's given the people that are offering the sync opportunities a lot of leeway to negotiate for um lower sync fees, or offer lower sync fees. Plus they're creating a lot more content. There's more content after the strike being created. Um and because there's more content being created, they're going to be offering lower sync fees. Now, with that being said, like I said, there's been some fluctuating. It's crazy because there's almost two things trending. Like sync fees are trending down, but at the same time, because there's so many more sync opportunities, there's tons more opportunities to actually get higher sync fees as well. So because of the number of opportunities growing, sync fees, higher sync fees, good chunks of bread for getting a placement uh, is going up. Even the opportunity to get upfront money versus gratis opportunities is going up just because of not only the number of opportunities that are popping up, but the different types of opportunities, the diversity in sync opportunities, everything from like corporate uh, buyout stuff to micro licensing to YouTubers to leasing beats on BeatStars or whatever. So as far as monetizing your music, there's a lot of different ways these days to do it. But sync licensing as a whole seems to be right now in 2023 the best thing going, whether it's your main hustle or you have other goals or aspirations, just because if the right amount of pressure is applied to it, the benefits just outweigh the work that you're going to have to do. Like, the hardest thing that you're going to have to do, honestly, to, get over the hump and get that first placement and get the ball rolling in sync, other than to do, learn the stuff and is to be patient. That's the one thing that I see that people fall, you know, prey to the most is, being impatient, not being able to wait out, what they're doing. And I always use the analogy of building a skyscraper. You're not going to be able to build it just by throwing some girders and some stuff on the ground and putting it together. You're going to need all the parts you need, which might take some time for you to gather, translate that into like the knowledge that you need in order to get to where you're going. And then you're going to need the tools, right? So then you're going to have to translate that into, you're going to have to know how to use the knowledge that you have. You're going to have to, have made a couple mistakes and heard no a couple times maybe or whatever. But the thing is that if you do these things and just wait it out, the odds go up of success, because you get to a point to where you might not be pitching correctly at first, or you might not be pitching the music that they need at the time. You might not be doing your research and pitching your music to an opportunity that really fits the type of music that you specialize in. You might not be formatting your music correctly. You might not be putting ear candy, applying that ear candy in your tracks. Your beats might be too long. There's a bunch of factors, right? But the thing is once you figure these things out, and the only way that you figure these things out is you just keep on doing it. You keep learning, you seek out the information, you apply, you don't get results, you see what you're doing, see what you can improve, you apply, and eventually, and it doesn't take that long to get to where, like, what you're pitching out there is what you're supposed to be pitching out there. um Now you're pitching over and over the right thing. Your emails are right, your playlists are right, the type of music that you're sending to the opportunities, you're sending it specifically to people that you mean to send it to. You're not copying and pasting submissions, which is don't ever do that. Like, be very intentional about who you're sending the music to, so you can do research on them, et cetera, et cetera. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but that's very important. You can file this under things that you can. Excuse me, man. I just ate fruit cup. Delicious though. You can file this under things that you can do in 2024 to level up. Um, being organized, but the word I'll say is research. The more research you do, research is power, man. The more research you do, after you figure out what it is you specialize in, now you can be targeted. Just like these advertisers don't just send commercials to your phone. You're very, very targeted, right? You'll get stuff that pops up that asks you questions about yourself or whatever. They're not trying to steal your 401ks or steal your money. They're trying to get your data so they can market things to you very specifically. If you're a music producer, you're going to get a bunch of like Sweetwater ads and Guitar Center ads and that kind of thing, you know. Um, and this translates into a huge bottom line for them at the end of the year, because they've marketed specifically to you. You've seen those movies in the future where you walk into a store and they face scan you as soon as you walk into the, hey, Mr. So and so, are you going to buy another pair of da 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 whatever? Like, they would, if there wasn't an issue with privacy and that kind of thing, it would be like that every time you walked into a Walmart. They would know everything you bought and this and that. And the reason why I'm running off on that is because it's the same thing. When you're pitching your music, you have a product, right? So you want your product to go to the people with the highest chance of purchasing or using, in this case, that product, right? So how do you figure that out? A, you figure out what your product is. What do you specialize in? I know I can do everything. I can produce every type of track. I can, I'm multi-genre and this and that. Okay, well, you don't do that. We're not pitching Walmart right now. We're not pitching Target right now. We're pitching somebody that needs to be specialized, somebody that garners higher value, to a potential client. So what do you do best? And then you lean in on that and you make a dope playlist, 7 to 10 tracks of that. And then you, in that email, you let them know, hi, I've researched you. You don't say that you researched them or whatever, but, you know, hopefully you've done your research. You found the music supervisor or the library or sync agent that obviously is getting placements, in good places with the type of music that you specialize in. So you can shine working with them, and then you keep sending music out to these people until you get results. I don't guarantee things, but I've seen it so many times that I could almost guarantee that you're going to get some results. Um, just because not only because you've done what you're supposed to do, but again, the sheer number of opportunities that there are, in television and film and advertising and video games. There's so much production in these pieces of media being created at one time or at any given time that the opportunities are just gonna go on and on and on and on. So it's basically a get in where you fit in situation. So file this under ways to level up in 2024, and that's having the right attitude. Nothing great comes quickly, right? So, not gonna be all philosophical right now. I wrote some notes this time because there were some things that um I wanted to go over with you guys. So just give me a second. How's everybody doing? We didn't even go over the wins this time. I'm so adamant about getting in here and talking. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. What's up, Cherry? How you doing? Jay Temple, how you doing? Sundays, how you doing? Been a while. Nice to see you. Walter, how you doing? How's everybody doing? There's only a few of you in here right now, but you guys can come back and watch later. Whoever's not on here, miss everybody. But it is the end of the year. I know everybody's getting ready to level up, so I ain't mad at nobody. I know who the faithfuls are, and shout out to all the new people that's going to be coming in 2024. I know you coming. We welcome you. So let's get to the wins real quick. The few of you, if you got any wins for me, I know something happened for you this week. Let's celebrate them real quick, and then we're gonna go into uh this state of sync real quick. So in talking about sync, while I'm waiting for the wins real quick. So like I was saying, like, and you guys might have noticed too that there it feels like David Massey, what's up, man? Happy Friday. It feels like there's a surge of interest in sync licensing over the past year or so. Well, ever since the pandemic, but like I said, in 2023, it really feels like people were like really, really, you know, putting interest in on this sync thing, man. I went to uh sync conference in Atlanta. You guys all know the name of it. And and they filled it up, one of the dopest conferences that I've gone to, ever, to be honest with you. Like, and I really like speaking at conferences, man. It's an opportunity for me to really get in front of people, shake hands, and that kind of thing. But I digress. Like, so because there feels like there might have been an uptick in interest in sync, I've been hearing the term saturated come up. Like, oh, sync is saturated, man. There's so many people trying to get their beats on TV and this and that. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get mine on there and so on and so forth. Hold on, let me fix my hoodie. Um, and that's not the case, man, because yeah, you might hear that there's a lot of people that are interested in doing sync, but that doesn't mean that there's a lot of people that are willing to be patient, take the steps and be patient, do what they need to do and be patient, do the work and be patient. I keep leaning in on that because that's what it really, really takes. It doesn't take a ton of time to learn the steps. It doesn't take a ton of time to learn how to set an email up, to put sting outs, learn how to produce your sting outs correctly, learn how to format your tracks correctly to where they're not too long, and they get in and do what they're supposed to do. They grab the ear. Like, these are all techniques and methods that, because you guys are already creating music, you already know how to produce. This is just putting the seasoning in your cooking game, turning you from cooks to chefs type things. And you can do that in a certain amount of time, some faster than others. But the things that we need to learn in these areas, it's not rocket science. It don't take forever, right? What takes longer, once you know what you're doing and those playlists are set up and that music is correct and you're doing your due diligence as far as researching where you're supposed to send the music, is pitching the music, finding the people, because there's factors there that you can't control. And a lot of people, when they pitch music out and they don't get answers, they just assume is because uh they didn't like my music. And that's an ego thing, right? And I guarantee you, like, if your music is dope and you've done what you're supposed to do and the music works for where you're sending it, then chances are there's other issues going, like they just haven't checked it out yet, or it's timing, they didn't need it right then, what they heard right then for that week, and they haven't gone back in there and checked out or whatever. That's why following up on your submissions is very important, because these companies go through a lot of music, they got a lot of moving parts in most cases. And so when you don't hear back from them, and this is when, like I say, this isn't for everybody. This isn't for the guy that's just like, oh, I want to get my beats on TV, and he puts together a playlist and starts sending out music talking about, you ain't said nothing to me, I ever heard no. No, this is to the people, like I said, that you guys know, you've done the due diligence, you researching the shows that use the music that you specialize in, so you know that you can be an asset to them. Hey, you might have even IMDb the music supervisor and got a little, other shows that they've worked on, maybe research the kind of music that they seem to be, liking to put into their, productions that they're working on. I don't know. I'm just saying, good detective game never hurts. But for those people that are taking these steps and really, really making sure that before they send that first playlist, that it's very targeted and very intent. There's a lot of intent there, or whatever, intentional, I should say. Excuse me, my vocabulary is just crazy. Sleep is crazy. Um, Very intentional. These people are who I'm talking about. If you've done that, then it's only a matter of time for you. Then stuff gotta line up. The timing's gotta line up. The need for that week or that period of time or whatever's gotta line up. The right person's gotta line up, who you're sending it to or whatever. And this is just an odds game. Like, if you go to Vegas and I've seen people sit there for hours and put coins in slot machines, just hoping that it hits. And a lot of times it does, and that's how slot machines are. If you sit there and put enough coins in a slot machine, it's gonna pay off. It might not be that huge jackpot, meaning you might not get the first person that hits you said, oh man, we love your music, we want to use it for a Budweiser commercial or Walmart campaign or something. But you might be like, hey man, they might be like, yeah, we like your music, we're going to go ahead and add it to our library and start pitching it out, or we're going to put it on this reality show or this sports ad or whatever it is. um that's coming, but that takes your patience, right? I'm not going to beat a dead horse as far as the stuff that you guys have to do, because we talked about that all year, like we already know. And if you don't know, then we already know what the steps are we need to take, so we do know. But the thing is, we're transitioning from one year to the next year. We're not making resolutions, because we don't do that. We're just making sure that if there's any ways that we can tighten up what we're already doing, that we're going to do that. And one thing that I want you guys to really focus on, that I keep saying over and over again, is just to be patient, man. You guys are doing the work. I see you hustling, especially people in this community. I see you guys hustling, right? So just be patient. What's coming for you is coming for you. There's no way that it's not going to come if you just keep putting pressure on it. Um, what I'm seeing, though, going back to what I'm saying, and trust me, I'm gonna go back to the comments here in a second, is that you're gonna be hearing people use the words like saturated and stuff like that or whatever. Um, Being on the company side of the fence, I'm hearing two different things. Like, there's some companies we work with that are saying, "Oh yeah, there's been an influx of new music coming in from new people, so the music supervisors are offering less money up front." And then I'm working with other companies that are like, yeah, like, that might be the case for some companies, but we're seeing our sync fees go up. Our clients are, paying, and we're able to offer our people more money per placement and that kind of thing, whatever. Um, us personally as a company, we're kind of on that side of the fence. We've seen uh so honestly, we've seen television placement opportunities go down a little bit for us, but we've seen and this is just background underscore opportunities, but we've also seen go up, like sports placements have gone up a bunch for us. Ads have gone up, and promos and trailers of that thing have gone up a lot for us, during the year. We were able to really like land a bunch of placements for people this year. Thank goodness, God is good. And quite a few of them, it was their first placement, and that makes me feel good. I just put a post up a couple days ago, like saying that, you know, that's one thing that I really, really want people to stay in the game long enough to feel is your first placement, because you know it's gonna happen because it's something you did. It's gonna be because of the work that you put in, your patience or whatever. So getting the placement is gonna feel good, but the sense of accomplishment that you are gonna have because you took the steps and hung in there, and got in communities like this and networked, and whatever it was your path, to get to that first placement, but you're going to be so proud of yourself for doing it. And that's basically what it bit me. When I first got into it, the dude that I got into it with, he told me, like, you're not going to get paid no money for like a year, maybe even a year and a half. Back then ASCAP was like, you know uh a little bit slower, and so it depends on how the cycles go, but it was my very first placement, so I wasn't in any system or whatever when I first signed up. So I had to rack up, I think, 4 quarters and then get paid in that fifth quarter or something like that. And that's how it worked back then or whatever. So I was just going on faith at that point. We're making beats and turning them in, and I remember hearing like my stuff on TV for the first time, like on Real World on MTV, and it was like, and then there was so many beats on TV getting heard. Like I had friends and family members telling me, "Oh, I heard your beats on TV. This your beat? Is this yours?" Or whatever, that kind of stuff, or whatever. It was just so dope, man, because in my case particularly, as I'm sure a lot of you guys, like, we all go through the same things. There was a lot of people around doubting me. So there's a bunch of people around, probably, or a few people or a couple people that you wish didn't doubt you, that was around doubting you. Now, I don't like, I'm not one to move with the energy that's like, oh, I can't wait to show these MFers, da 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 da, or whatever. Now, I don't move like that because that's a kind of dark, negative space to move in, and I don't believe nothing good can come if that's the energy you're moving with. But on the other side of the coin, when I started getting in placements and I started seeing those same people's attitudes change and speak to me differently, and the level of respect that was gained because of what happened, what I was doing, that was worth everything. That was worth everything. Like, it made me feel like, I don't know, man. It was like I went from, there were people that were doubting that I was gonna have even be out here in LA for more than a year. I was gonna have to go back to Phoenix, and um just doubting everything, to some of those same people were like hitting me like, "Oh yeah, man, I got a niece or a nephew that wants to, he produces, he wants to get his music on television or whatever." Like, they're starting to hit me up and ask me for opportunities and advice and stuff like that. And I wasn't an asshole to them or nothing like that, like, cuz I get it. But the feeling of, oh my God, you talking about, oh, it's just, it felt so good. And it's been, 15 years plus now, and it still feels that good. I still get, now when I go home, there's such a, you know, I'm I want to say go home. Well, Phoenix is home. I went to high school there, this and that, and LA is home to me too. Um, but when I go back there, it's just you know, I feel accomplished. I wasn't accomplished there before, so I feel accomplished. And that's not because I have a company and I'm doing all that or whatever. It was like way back when I was just started getting placements, right? And with you guys, it doesn't have to be a big windfall of placements. I'm telling you, that if you don't have one, that first time your people hear your stuff, Cherry, you know what I'm talking about, man. You know when, because it was your first one wasn't that long ago, so you know how your people around you react as well. They're like, "Whoa!" Like it's a big deal to them. They're proud of you, and I want y'all to feel that. So it takes patience. Let me go to the comments real quick. I just skipped over this. What's up, everybody? What's up, David Massey? What's up? I got two more placements. Walter says I got two more placements on Catfish, the show, which makes my sixth episode and ninth placements this season. Ninth placement this season on that show. Praise God. Absolutely. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis to Walter Bowie. And let me tell you, man, Catfish is one of them shows that's a dope show to get placements on because um if you could crack that code and get to that show, not only is it one of those shows that is always in production, because it's reality, but they rerun a lot. And it's like hitting a crack pipe. That show, man. You start if you're flipping through the channels and you happen to stop on that show, you're gonna watch 3, 4 episodes of that show. And that's a good thing. So fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis to Walter Bowie. I love it, man. I love it. Sundays, how you doing, lady? Nice to see you. Sunday says my win is that my engineer just finished mixing and mastering for my next single. Fingers crossed. The paperwork process will be smooth as I get it out in the Q1. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis to Sundez. You know, Sundez is dope, man. She's smooth and sultry. I don't like comparing people to people. You know, there are people that come to mind when I hear her, but I'm not gonna say them because she's Sundez and she's the first of her. She's one of one type thing. You know, I don't like that. Oh, she reminds me of such and such, or they remind me of, he raps like so and so, or whatever. That I don't like that, man. If you're bringing something new and fresh to the table and you got a skill set, then you the first you. So for you people that do that, to be like comparing people to people, like, you know, if they're mediocre, then yeah, like, oh yeah, you know, they mid as hell. They sound like so and so, whatever. But Sundance is not mid as hell. She's super dope. So if you're not following her, go follow her, and let's look forward to her single in first quarter if you can, unless it's NDA type stuff. Can you divulge the name of that single so we know what to be looking for on all streaming platforms? Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. So let me go down here. Um, yeah, Catfish is crazy, man. Catfish is one of them things where, like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, how the hell is there still a Catfish? How is there still a show after all these years? It's been what, 10 years that show been on or whatever, and people are still getting got like that, having full blown. I'm in love with this person. I sent this person 10 grand, and they won't even FaceTime me or meet me or nothing like that. And they still be like, I don't know. I don't know. Just have to find out, if he or she really loves it. Man, it's just crazy. It's sad that, social media and the internet has demolished people's social skills to where it's a lot harder for these people to be social. You know, it's I digress. I know I'm not going to go off on this tangent, but it's true. It's the internet that's done it. Like, you could look down any neighborhood street on the weekend, and if you're older like me, any neighborhood street would have been filled with kids riding bikes and big wheels and playing in the street, basketball, throwing footballs or whatever. Now you don't see nobody. You don't see no kids out ever, and it's not because it's less safe. It's always been that element of like the boogeyman, somebody come take your kids or whatever. Like, it's always been like that. Um, not anymore now than any time. The thing is that we're living a tech age, so most kids aren't socializing. Most kids are on devices. They're on iPads and tablets and phones and computers and this and that. And if they communicate with each other, it's in a nonverbal sense or whatever. And so when they get older, of course, like, they haven't developed the social skills in school like we did. Like, they haven't, you know, had a girl run up to him and sock him in the chest because she likes him, or like just normal stuff like that don't happen, as much or whatever. So um shows like that can be in existence because of, like, it's just really sad that people are just so easily fooled or whatever. So shout out to Catfish, man. And that show, the host of that show got started because he got catfished, and he filmed him trying to go find out, who catfished him or whatever. I didn't see that episode, but I heard the story. So real, real dope, real dope. I digress though, not trying to take too much of you guys' time. We just having fun today. It's the last Sync Hustle Mindset of the year, and we're talking about the state of sync, but right now we're in the wins. Um, so shout out to Cherry for got a couple of hip hop tracks accepted for pitching to reality shows. So Cherry, fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. She always hustling, man. Give Cherry some fire emojis, y'all. There you go. I see go Cherry. Everybody congratulating each other. I see, I see, I see. Oh, you want to know who comes to mind? Um, Now it's not your style because her style is way more like, I guess more like, well, she's South African or whatever. So it's like a more like, I don't know, I can't describe it, but it's more sultry, I guess, or whatever. But it's Sade. Sade. Sade's got like real pure, smooth, clean, you know, softer vocals, like creamy. She got creamy vocals, and that's how yours are. You got really smooth, silky, creamy vocals, And so um, I could name probably a couple other people that come to mind. But they make different kind of music, so it wouldn't make sense. But yeah, since the stuff that I've heard from you is more slower stuff, more ballady type stuff or whatever, that's who comes to mind because even though she has like a jazzy kind of style or whatever, it's the texture, the tone and the texture of the voices. That's what I'm talking about. I used to vocal coach, so like I could really get into, you know, the vocal. Like I vocal produce. I was a coach for some years. Like I even had a couple girls groups that I produced that I used to vocal coach for back in the day. So um but yeah. So anyway, Willie Eaglin, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Happy Friday, happy Friday. Okay, so if we're done with the wins, you got any wins for the a week, Willie? We're gonna get back into the state of sync. I got notes and everything, brother. So while I'm waiting for the next wins to pop up, if any. We're going to recap real quick. And it's basically that, um, so far the state of sync has been, it's really good right now. It's strong, but we've seen some things come up during the year. Like there's been an influx of people that are really interested in sync. So as I said before, there might be some of you that hear the word saturated, or some people that are discouraged from pursuing sync because they see so many people um, pursuing it. Let me tell you something. Music is not, they're always going to get music to use for media. There's libraries with tons of it. Even the companies that don't want to really work with libraries, they will if they have to, because the music needs to be procured for the media, whatever. What's more important for these music supervisors and sync agents and people that work more closely with you is to have a reliable source of that music. They're going to get music, but if they can find good music and then find somebody that can keep giving them good music, maybe be available for custom opportunities or other opportunities that may arise because you've built a relationship with them over time. This is what they want. They want a go-to person they could count on, for the long term. It sucks for, us or a soup or any entity to have to keep searching and keep searching and keep searching for music, especially if you work on like one show, two shows, there's a particular type of need for that show that's pretty been well been established. So like if you work on one of the housewives or something like that, like everybody knows what kind of music those shows use. So it you would think it'd be easy enough for those entities to find people that could consistently send them that music so they don't have to keep seeking that music. But it's hard. There's people that have good music and send good music, but they're not able to be consistent, or they're not consistent for some reason or whatever. So um um let me go to the comments real quick. Yeah, Sade is an icon. Sure is. She dope too. It's Dave Man, Cherry and Sundays. I still want to collab, and that goes for anyone. So David Massey wants to collab. David Massey is real dope too, so don't sleep. Just contact them. I have 2 more tracks accepted for sports opportunities. David Massey, fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. 2 more tracks accepted. See, that's why I like doing that and celebrate. Let's fire emojis. Let's add him, man. Let's let them feel it. And that's why I like doing this because for the people that come to the live that haven't had that happen yet, I want y'all to see that it's possible for you, right? Some of the people that come to the live it's taken them a couple of years to do it. Some of them put their foot on the gas like a year ago. Some of them have been 6 months of trying hard, sending music out every day, every week, or whatever. But I want you to see that these are people just like you that didn't have a placement not so long ago, that was hustling not so long ago. They still hustling, but like, hustling towards their first one, but now they're getting multiple placements. That's why we do this, right? Not so you could just see the placement. Because, like I said, everything you do is a win. If you looked at a YouTube video and learned something this week, that's a win because you're smarter than you were a week ago. If you finished a track, that's more music in your catalog that you had a week ago. Whatever it is that you did that leveled you up a little bit, that's something to celebrate. And I want everybody to see that because if you didn't do it, if you were lazy this week and you didn't level up, now you see that there's people out here doing, just like you. They got lives. Everybody be like, oh, well, my kids, man, and I had to this and that. Like, nah, man, no. You got to make some time for yourself. I don't care if it's at the end of the night when you're about to go to bed, you brush your teeth, and you're about to hop into bed. Right before you hop into bed, you be like, no, I'll hop into bed in an hour and I go sit here and make a track, mix something, watch a video, hop on social media, post something, straighten up my social media, whatever it is. But you got to invest in yourself to get something back. You know what I mean? So shout out to the community, man. You guys are always posting the good ones, posting the good wins. David Massey on here killing it. So Willie England, I know you got some. Willie. ATL Mama, ATL Homicide, Are You the One? Military Makeover, Basketball Wives, Orlando, before the 90-day couple retreat, WWE, NBA, Dallas versus Denver, NBA post game, which was a dope game, by the way. So there you go. Willie, we talked about Willie last week. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. Y'all better put these fire emojis in here. There's only a few of you. Let's let them feel it. But we talked about Willie last week. He's one of those that, long time. He put some years in. He kept his foot on the gas. He didn't give up. So now they're coming in. I'm proud, man. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. And so for all you guys that are willing to collaborate, feel free to let everybody know in the comments so we know, we encourage that you guys get together behind the scenes. There's been a lot of collaboration here in the Producer Whisper over the year, and a lot of good music have come out of that collaboration. As a matter of fact, Sundej and Cherry working on some stuff. Just real dope, man. Real dope. I love it. Okay, so I'll come back to the comments. I'm seeing the fire emojis and it's making me feel proper. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so getting back into it. So if you guys are here in terms like saturated, don't let that roll off your back because there's always going to be a need for you guys, the guys that are putting the work in and being diligent and yada yada yada, whatever. And recapping as far as the money is concerned, because there are more new people getting into sync. There are some companies that are offering less money up front, for those sync opportunities. They're offering more gratis situations or whatever. But at the same time, because there's so much more production, streaming channels and, gaming companies, mobile gaming, and, all of these things that aren't just, reality-based television opportunities. These offer fees like the mobile gaming and the video gaming and that kind of stuff. They pay for that. Advertising, even though advertising has seen an influx in digital media advertising, which does pay less, right? They're not national ads. These are ads that are micro ads and broken up campaigns that are meant for targeted audience to pop up on people's timelines or on YouTube channels and that type of thing. uh, they pay, but they pay a lot less than a televised, like a broadcast, national commercial. But even so, the advertising industry isn't paying less. It's just that anything that's streaming is going to pay less. That's just how it is. There's, they're paying less upfront. Now, keep in mind, advertising, for digital 1 year use on, on an ad, they could give you a few $100s. They could give you a few $1,000s or whatever. But that same ad ran on broadcast could be 20 to 50 to $100,000 depending on the brand and that type of thing. And so um it's almost like the bottle of water rule. Like you can take a bottle of water and you sell it in a grocery store, but that bottle of water might be $2. You go move that bottle of water to like a hotel room, and now the bottle of water is $8, $10. You sell it at a sporting event or concert or something, it might be $12 or something, but it's the same exact bottle of water. It just depends on, where it's at, and that determines the value of it. And that's a good thing to remember too when you're pitching your music as well. Making sure that you're doing your research and you're pitching your music to where it has the best fit, where you have the best opportunity to be an asset to that situation, and you're going to have the highest value. If you put your music where it really truly is supposed to be, you feel like it's supposed to be. Now, this is going to be learned, like, you're going to do research, but I'm telling you, man, that research thing, when it happens for you, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to really recognize that, oh, okay, this person knows what they're doing. Let me go ahead and grab their music and give them a shot. And there you go. Right, Willie? You know what's up. Cherry, you know what's up. And so let me go to my notes here. So yeah, money's going up. It just depends on who you talk to. So make sure that you're talking to positive people, because some people might hit you up with the, hey man, they're not paying as much no more. I don't know about this sync thing. Everybody and their mama and daddy trying to get into it. And uh yeah, for them that might be the experience. They might need to pivot. They might need to join a different community, get in different circles, move different, something. But that doesn't mean that's going to be your experience at all. So let me look at my notes here. Put a one in the comments if you guys are with me so far, man. I'm not trying to talk your head off. Let's see. Yeah, wow. Plenty of big value opportunities are still there. Among the key changes that are seen is a large volume of shorter term and limited media branded campaigns, which usually means licensing fees for artists. So yeah, you're gonna see people getting ad placements, but those ad placements are gonna be like 3 month runs, 30-day runs, 3 month runs on digital platforms or whatever. Gonna be great, you know. They're gonna be great. Like we've gotten a lot of ads over the years, and I'll tell you, like I will have to say, not the vast majority, but more than not have been those ads, those digital ads, those YouTube ads or whatever, and they're shorter campaigns, and they run for, either from 30 days or I think up to a year, right? Um, and they don't pay a ton, usually a few grand in those cases. Um, which is cool. Sometimes we get them through a third party, which they get their cut, which is also cool. But the thing about those placements is that, and they could be for a national brand, Toyota, McDonald's, whoever. Um, uh, but those placements are like the absolute best thing you can have on your resume as somebody that's doing music, especially if you're new in the game type thing or whatever, because it just really, really establishes uh that you know what you're doing, and if you hustle correctly, it can put you in a different place, get you to where you're making those high 5 figure, 6 figure ad placements. And so there's a lot more of those opportunities now because streaming is such a big thing, right? So if you're watching, say, like Paramount Plus or Disney Plus, those ad companies aren't putting the same type of budget into commercials for those platforms as they would like a CBS or ABC because they're not broadcast. The royalties generated is like not even a fraction of what broadcast is. Um, and you would think it would just be based on viewership, and on some of them streaming platforms, they got a high viewership, so they do pay a little bit to get, their ads on there or whatever. But because there's so much competition in streaming, the ad companies have a little leeway, they where they put their money. The streaming companies got to fight a little bit more to get those ad clients. Um, and if anybody acts wrong politically or something like that, those advertisers are quick, for whatever reason, to snatch their dollars from a company. So they got to be either careful about that. But for us that do sync, like I said, it's not a bad time at all. There's tons and tons of those opportunities. Don't be mad if you land a commercial and that commercial don't pay you $100,000. Don't trip. Don't say nothing to nobody on the outside. It's between you and me, uh because it's gonna look good as hell on your resume. If you land a McDonald's commercial, don't nobody got to know you didn't get $100,000 for it. If you got $5,000 for it and you had to split it up two ways, three ways, or whatever, that's cool. You got a couple grand, $1,700 or whatever for the ad. Let people think what they think. Perception is reality. You're a company now. No matter what you think, you trying to earn money with your music is business. So do business. Don't tell your business. That's one part of business. Don't tell your business. Perception is reality. Use that to your advantage. Put those on your resume and aim for those. Right? Aim for those if you can. Do your research. There's companies that if you can get a hold of an ad company, advertising agency, and let them know that, like, I'm getting in the game new, I'm trying to target those quick turnaround ads that you guys might not be paying attention to. Whatever you got to do, whatever your hustle is or whatever, I'm just telling you guys that in 2023 there's more of those opportunities now, right? And ads are still paying, so um there you go there. So don't be worried about it. Let me go to my notes real quick. We're gonna be wrapping up in not too long. So overall, there's been an increase in licensing fees over the last 3 years, this year in particular, healthy budgets in advertising, plenty of big budget opportunities, more opportunities in trailer campaigns this year. So you guys that are interested in trailers, there's more of them. Even more so in 2024. If you guys really have noticed, the movie theater industry hasn't rebounded yet from the pandemic still. People still aren't really going to the theaters. And that's two things. Like, it's not like we ain't outside, because we outside now, like, for the most part, even though some of us still trying to mask up or whatever. But we outside now. A lot of that is just because there ain't really been nothing to go to the movies to see. Movies have been crappy to me for the last few years, especially if you're like a Marvel or DC fan, or you want some substance. Like, it's just been crap. There ain't been no reason to go to the movie. So hopefully that's going to change and start bringing people back to the movie theaters. Um, and so with that, there's going to be even more big budget film and big budget trailer opportunities coming in 2024 and 2025, because the theater industry is going to continue to rebound. And hopefully, God willing, nothing help happens in between then and now. We get to have a few years of smooth sailing before the next, you know, knock on wood, whatever it is pops off. But as far as us in the sync world, it's a good time. You know, it's a good time for targeted pitching, targeted research, really thought out hustle. You know what I mean? If you just try to throw darts up against the wall, like, they might stick, but you really want to know where it's going to stick at, because data is everything. So knowing which industries are growing, which areas you can put your music that really have the highest chances of, you know, using your music and using a lot of your music, sectors, that are really active and growing that you know might be able to really relate to, get in and have a good time making music for or whatever. So like, yeah, do some research, man. That's all I did, man. I did a few Google searches, a little chat with Chat GPT, and Chat let me know what was going on. So I'm sharing with you a little bit. I'm not going word for word. I just made some notes just to, basically see what the basic state of things were. And for the most part, everything is good. Um, so but for you guys that are learning to be targeted, there's an increase in opportunities for, I won't call them alternative, but other types of placement opportunities. And these are, like I say, trailers, promo stuff, sizzle reels, sports music, that kind of thing, not just underscore cues for television. And I would advise that you guys kind of pay attention to these other areas too, because if you're just doing, underscore background music for television shows, you're getting placements now, that's dope, but you guys are still competing with the libraries. Now, here's the thing that I'm hearing from my peers is that, you know, we can't compete with the libraries. The libraries have all the music from all the time periods and this and that. The reason why we're still getting placements as individuals is that a lot of these music suits and these companies want a personal touch. They want to work with somebody, not for somebody. And there's a coldness that comes with just logging onto a library website, and having your assistant or intern or whatever search music, or you search music and download it and this and that or whatever. um that doesn't give you uh the opportunity to build a relationship with anyone. And then, say, as you're growing as a music supervisor, or other opportunities come to you, there's no one for you to offer those opportunities to. And I've seen this happen time and time and time again. You get in with a music suit, you get in with a company, you show and prove, you do your thing, something special come up and they're like, hey, so and so, I see you've been, you had it cracking for us. Do you think you'd be willing to do a trailer for so and so in 3 days, and it's only going to pay you 1,500 or whatever? You know but those things happen all the time. But those opportunities are often given to people that have already proven that they can be counted on, because there's other clients involved. Like, it's not just that music soup or that sync agent or whatever. There's a client somewhere that needs that music that, we're trying to appease and keep them happy and this and that. And you're helping us do that. So, um, so just be intentional in your pitching and know that a lot of these other opportunities are there. Even though you're competing with the libraries, I don't want that to deter you from doing underscore. But if you're doing underscore, then you can do stuff for trailers. If you do trailer stuff, you could do sizzle reels. If you could do sizzle reels, you could do, you might even be able to do trailerized. Take some of your hip hop records or your R&B records and trailerize them. Practice that. That's a whole sector of the industry that we've seen a big rise in 2023. I saw it in 2021 and 22, but in 2023, it was really relevant, as far as opportunities are concerned. And we've seen that. So, just keep your eye out for these other ways to get this sync money. You know, exactly, Willie. Willie says diversify. And, you know, when I say diversify, every one of you is going to have your own fingerprint and be in your own lane. So don't worry so much about what everybody else is doing. Don't look over anybody else's uh social media fence and be worried about what, how their grass is doing. you know just congratulate them for what they got going on, and you do your due diligence and you keep it popping, and things should be good. So for 2024, the word is going to be patience. And for me personally, I would like to see people really lean in with their marketing and their social media. That's one of the reasons why I wore a blank hoodie today instead of a Smash Coast hoodie. Now, you guys know I do brand, but I wore a blank one today to signify, like, to me, a blank hoodie is an opportunity to market yourself, right? And that's just the way I think. With me, it's always about marketing, branding, public perception, right? Sometimes my posts slow down because I'd rather not post than to post the wrong things, or be consistently posting mundane things or whatever. I probably overthink that sometimes, because the professionals will tell you, oh, you're just supposed to be consistently posting 3 times a day and this and that. I don't make that much comment, but I am very aware of it. So in 2024, you know because I am very aware of the importance of marketing and branding, I want you guys to really, really lean into that next year. Like, keep your social media tight. If you have a lot of posts on your social media, go down to your old posts, look at the number of views. If it don't have a few hundred views on it, download that. I was about to say download that SHI. Download it, stack it somewhere, maybe reword it and post it again. That means not enough people, whoever it was, shows you how many people saw it. So if it wasn't enough people, that's how many people saw it. Download it off of there, delete it, repost it. You don't want to have 500 posts from 16 years ago on your social media. Try to have as many relevant posts. Keep the posts up that have the most views on them, because you want it to look like people are looking at your stuff or whatever. And um, keep your posts glued together as far as like what you do. So if you're a music producer, post music producer related stuff, you in the lab, articles, gear stuff, like whatever it is, but um you do these things and you stay on brand all the time, and it's going to help you. There's nothing worse than looking around for music producers and scrolling through somebody the first 5 posts of somebody's social media, and it's just all over the place with them trying to be funny and this and that. I get it, like a little bit of personal stuff is cool, whatever, but like I say, you're a business though. You don't see Target or Walmart or any of these brands on their social media doing that. They might say something funny every once in a while just because they know it's social media. I've seen them do that. Or you've seen like you know uh McDonald's and Burger King, or Taco Bell and Del Taco or whatever, go back and forth at each other sometimes or whatever. That's funny. Um, Two brands talking smack or whatever. But you guys know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Stay on brand. If you sing, be on there singing. If you produce, be on there producing. There's tons of people that are looking for you, right? Because like I say, I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna keep saying it, I probably say it every live. One of the hardest things these companies, us included, can find are dependable people. Good music isn't that hard to find. People make, decent music, at least good enough to, put on television. What's harder to find is a consistent source of that music, a reliable, consistent source of that music. So keep your foot on the gases in 2024, because of this. That's why a lot of these companies are often looking on social media. They don't know you. They don't know where to look. There's no directory of you guys anywhere, so they look on social media and they hashtag music producer or whatever type of genre that they're looking for, and hopefully you pop up. But if you pop up in the search and they go to look at your social media, you got to be ready, so you don't have to get ready. You got to make sure that what they see is what they're looking for. So if that's what you say you are, be what you say you are on your social media. If you want to have a personal social media where you crack jokes, or you talk about TikTok trends, or you cook meals, or you show yourself fixing stuff around the house or whatever, like, do a YouTube channel or go on Facebook or whatever. But if you're on these social media platforms where we all are, Threads, X, I'm not on X like that, but you know what I mean, Instagram, TikTok. If you're not on TikTok trying to sell something, oh my God, TikTok is just turned into the home shopping network these days. It's crazy. But whatever it is you're trying to do, be that. So when people look you up, they believe it. And then that way you can have these opportunities pop up for you. Yeah, Cherry, you download, because like I said, the number of people that have seen it is right there. So if only 60 people have seen it, I want 200 people to see it. You know, a lot of the time is when you posted it, it's timing. Your popularity that day could be up, whatever the vibe is. I don't know how the algorithms work or whatever. I know that I've done it though. I've reposted old stuff, and it was like new stuff, and they're like, oh, like, diamonds in the comments or whatever. And like, I posted this thing 2 years ago and didn't nobody care. And that's the same, so now I'm just playing, but it's not that nobody cared. It's just it didn't have to, it didn't reach who it was supposed to reach back then. And I might recycle the same post like 3 or 4 times if it don't reach enough people. Um, but the fact is that it shows you how many people that saw it. So if it's not enough people and it's been months have gone by or whatever, delete that mug, you know. And that helps us because it's hard to always come up with new content and creating new content. But if you got a bunch of content, especially the kind of content where you're creating music or anything relevant to what you're doing, it's really good for me because my posts are advice. Like 99% of the stuff that I post is advice, um tips and advice. And so they're always going to be good. If I do the post 5 years ago about putting sting outs on a beat, that's still relevant today. And there's people that need to see it. So I could delete that post and repost it and it's new content. So, but the thing of it is that I'm not going to be posting stuff about my cat. I'm not going to be cats. I'm not going to be posting stuff about my interest in cars or whatever it is on my social media because I want my potential clients and customers to believe it when they see it. So they're going to see this SC logo on my SC on the Smash Code stuff, and they're going to see, the producer whisperer doing what the producer whisperer does. I hate to say that in third person. I am not that guy to talk in third person. Trust me. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So in 2024, I want you to lean in on that and be the same way, man, because it's important. It's not you guys just seeking out the opportunities. These opportunities are trying to seek you out as well because they need you. Definitely seen trailerizing in movies, hip hop in movies. Yep. Tireless and tedious, but all makes sense. Yep. Well, he says, I never posted on social media until the last 2.5 months. When I started, it changed everything. An artist told me to. Yeah, man. I had a buddy that did the same thing. It was a few years back. But yeah, I was telling him years ago, if you have something to offer, get on social media and do it. And shame on you, Willie. You know better than that. You a little bit, you're not old as me, but you old enough to know that uh before we had it, a time before we had it. And that's the thing with my old ass that got me on it and got me to understand the importance of it is because like I remember being in a singing group and like I lived on the west side of Phoenix out there and on the west side. And so say like if we were doing a talent show at Phoenix College, which is on the west side of Phoenix, central west side of Phoenix, um and we wanted people like in Tempe or Scottsdale or Mesa or Chandler or Gilbert or whatever to know we were doing a show, we would have to get in the car and drive over to that side of town and to whatever the club was popping and leave flyers on their cars. So when they came out, call it parking lot pimping. You guys know we hang out, wait till the club be over with 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We out there handing out flyers, letting people know we got a show coming up or whatever. No such thing as social media, no such thing as the internet. So just to get people in your own city to even know that you even existed, because you couldn't just get on local radio and stuff back then. I eventually could, but you had to physically get your butt over somewhere and promote yourself. So when you know MySpace comes along, I'm in my 30s when MySpace comes along. MySpace, I was like 35, something like that, when MySpace space came along. And just to be able to talk to other people on there, people were, you go to MySpace, remember you go to your MySpace page and you could have music playing, you could design it how you want to design it or whatever. That blew my mind. So the people that were like born into that, they were just now, 11, 12, 13 getting into that. Like that's their world. Just like you see these kids now, they're using phones and iPads and stuff, and they know how to hop on, you know, 18-month-old babies know how to hop on devices and open apps and stuff like that. It's crazy. So, you know, but I digress. The thing is that I remember how much work you had to do just to be able to communicate something. And back then I was just trying to communicate, hey, we had a show, or I might have some beats or whatever. But like actually having music that you're trying to get to television, actually having a brand, actually having a product or a service to offer, that you can provide consistently in a professional manner, there's no way in hell that you shouldn't be on social media hardcore, hardcore. Like, not only on it hardcore, but on it playing by the rules. Like, really, really paying attention to how good you look on social media, not mixing your personal with your business on social media. You know, your ads, your promos, your consistency, like, you're staying on topic. All of these things are super essential. You know what I mean? So for those of you guys that aren't paying attention to it as much in 2024, lean into it on 2020 in 2024. And you're gonna see your business and your opportunities grow exponentially because you're gonna appear in a much more professional light. And um that's what you want, man. People want to pay professionals. People don't want to pay amateurs, So if you're moving like an amateur, as far as the way you look, your perception, you could have the most professional music, but it's wrapped up in cardboard. You know what I mean? So the package got to be as good as the music, got to be as good as your hustle, got to be as good as the person, got to be consistent all the way through and through and through. You can't bite into it and it's good on the outside and ain't cooked on the inside. You know what I mean? So let me go to the comments real quick. So shout out to Wooly, man. Yeah, man. I'm glad you're on social media. It's work though. It's work consistently doing it and being on there and all that stuff or whatever, but it's part of the game, man. You know, I say over and over and over again, we chose to do music. We chose music as our path. It's not easy. It's a difficult path. So everything that comes with it for us to get to where we're going, we're the ones that got to do it. We got to learn these skill sets. We got to do these things. I had to learn how to mix. I hate mixing. I'm not too particularly fun about creating posts for social media. With me talking and stuff, that's cool. But I'm talking about the stuff where I got to use Canva and use CapCut on my. I just I can't stand doing it, man. But I keep doing it. It's necessary. What's up, Nico? How you doing, man? Oh, it's all good, man. Nice to see you. Willie says hood marketing. Absolutely, man. You hit with all limbs. You do what you need to do. But yeah, Sherry says all that manual work. Exactly. Exactly. But since we don't have to do all that manual work now, since it's digital, and then there's ways to even streamline how we post music. Post on our social media. There's platforms that allow us to stack up our posts and then schedule them to be posted automatically and stuff like that or whatever. And some of these might be even tedious to use or whatever, but they're there. There's tools there that they realize that a lot of us don't have time to sit there and post for post for post for post and do that. Shout out to XJ Will, man. I don't know what your secret is, brother, but your social media posts, TikTok posts, and are just ridiculous. He be having B-roll and movie clips and and all kind of stuff in those little 1 minute clips is just crazy. And the amount of work and detail that either he or the guy he's got doing that comes with that is just crazy. So shout out to him. You're not gonna ever see mine looking like that. We'll never say ever, but I'm not gonna do it. I don't got time to do that. That's crazy. Um, but but yeah, the better you guys can make your social media, that's your calling card. That's how they're gonna be looking for you. So in a nutshell, I guess it's too late for it to be in a nutshell. The state of sync is good, you guys, right? So, in summation, stay away from the negative ninnies talking about sync is saturated because it ain't. There's more and more opportunities. Um, really think about diversifying your sync opportunities as far as where you pitch. Don't just think background music for television. Really, really get into some conversations with people and discover the many, many, many places where music can be placed and they're paying you for it because there's tons of them. A couple of lives ago, I was talking about how people don't approach like in their own hometowns, in their cities where you are. There's a car dealership that's been there for years. That's the most popular one on your local. There's restaurants that are only there in your town that are local restaurants, local, been there that do that pay for ad space on local television. I've had music placed on KTLA 5 Morning News out here in LA locally, just that very same way because I'm, from LA and know LA, know the news. And, before I moved to Phoenix, I was watching the same news people and then moved back. And some of them same old news people were still on TV. And, so, but my mindset moving back is different. And like now I'm seeing it as a licensing opportunity. There's still a few companies out here, restaurants that are only here in like the Valley area where I am that pay for ad time. That I'm sure I could get a couple of grand from them to write a jingle for them or something cool or whatever. Something that they probably never been approached or whatever. Kim and I learned a couple of years ago that there was opportunities in the corporate world where insurance companies and companies like IBM that hire groups of people and they have orientation, and these orientation uh meetings where they're intaking a bunch of employees. At first they often have videos, and it'll be like OSHA videos for safety, or it'll be like sexual harassment videos, or like procedural videos. And all of these videos, some of them would be like animated or whatever, but the majority of these videos have background music. So what these companies will do is they'll just buy your music uh non-exclusively in some cases in a chunk. So if you could sell them, like I got 200 you know pieces of music non-exclusively of different genre. And keep in mind it's set up right, like they're like a minute and a half, 2 minute long, different styles, electronic. It's underscore, maybe some comical stuff or whatever. you know be diverse in it or whatever. This is something that's not gonna you're not gonna be able to do your research and find out what kind of music they're using, but you can do your research and be like, do you guys have a marketing department? Right? And then you talk to the marketing department, and then you're like, well, where are you guys? I see you guys are doing ads. Where are you guys sourcing your music for your ads? If I may ask. And if you could really get into it, you find out how much they're paying for it, and undercut them. I can provide you, your 9 times out of 10, they're getting their music from a library. So they're, like I said, there's no personal touch. These are like insurance companies, ad companies, law firms, or whatever. So when that music producer comes along, there's that cool factor. Hey, we got to approach. They want to make music personally for us or whatever. Like, yeah, have our team write jingles for you, and you can work on campaigns with us, not just for this one time, like for the future. Like, we really want to get to know your brand, and you know carve a future for your brand musically. You can have a musical identity now, and like I get into this kind of stuff. You can see I'm running off, like I'm in this scenario, like y'all ain't even here right now. I'm already talking to this company in my head. But as hustle, like I got hustle, and you guys got hustle too. But I just want you to kind of have like more of an open mind when it comes to these types of things, and this is gonna yield you more opportunities, and put you in a better place. So the state of sync is good, man. Don't worry about it feeling like or seeming like everybody trying to get in the sync, because most of those people, 90% of those people that I'm interested in sync, man, I want to put my beats on TV, they're not going to do the work. They're not going to be here in the lives for an hour like you guys are, right? They're not going to be taking the classes and doing the courses and pitching and staying in the game for years and that kind of thing. It's a lot of quick, gratification going on. So um they're not going to do what you guys are doing. So just, hang in there, man. I keep saying, excuse me, we can learn all these things, but being patient is something that I can't teach you. I can't advise you how to be patient. This something, it comes from each and every one of you, right? I could teach you how to learn the steps. I could teach you how to do sting outs. I could teach you how to format the music. I could teach you how to email music supervisors. I could teach you sync licensing from front to back, A to Z, right? But I can't teach you how to believe in yourself. I can't teach you how to let these other factors in life not get to you on them days when you wake up and you just feel like quitting, you don't want to do it, right? I can't teach you how to be patient and hang with something to completion, to be able to start something and finish it, see it through to the end of it. These are all skills and techniques and tactics that all come from inside you. Now, I'll encourage you. I believe all of you got it in you. Every one of us can absolutely have that level of patience and that die hard attitude, that mama mentality. But ultimately, it's going to come up to you. I believe in y'all. That's why I'm here. That's why there is a producer whisper, no third person. But that's why I'm here doing this, because I was you. I'm the same way, man. Like I still had those days, where I be feeling a certain way, like I don't feel accomplished enough and that kind of thing or whatever, or I don't get enough support and that kind of stuff or whatever. I got days I don't want to do it. I get up and man, I gotta do it all over again or whatever. And this is even after accomplishing some things. Like it's just life, There's a whole lot of stuff going on in my life besides sync licensing. You know what I'm saying? Besides music. And these things matter. My family and my interest and life in general, these other things, they matter as well. But the thing is that you got to formulate a balance to where you can deal with, handle, enjoy all the things away from sync licensing, and then be able to keep your foot on the gas with this in a way to where you're mentally strong enough to see it through. And I'm saying all this because you'll see it through. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get your first placement, you're gonna get multiple placements, like it's gonna happen, right? But it takes a certain type of individual, and each and every single one of you guys is that type of individual. So if you haven't got your first one yet, lean in on the rest of us, man, and we're gonna help you get there. And so in conclusion, the State of Sync 2023, very good. Little rocky at first. The strikes kind of had us kind of like, whatever. But even during the strikes, like I said, when scripted television went down, we saw other opportunities rise, trailers, advertising, promos, sizzle reels, that type of thing. And you know, mobile gaming. You're seeing these mobile gaming and sports book apps really big. You might want to approach some of them too. They got them dollars, oftentimes way more money than you're going to get paid with television, but still opportunities for you to get your music placed. And that's another thing in 2024, man. Let's keep an eye out for a diversity of opportunities in 2024. It's not just about beats on TV. It's about monetizing your music. And in media, music is used in almost every type of media, right? So keep that in mind when it comes to you getting placements. You might have to get out of that I'm a creative artist, producer, mindset, and get into that I'm a company with a product or a service mindset. And if that's the case, if you get into that mindset, then you're going to be all about your marketing, because you're going to want to put that product or that service in as many hands or in front of as many people as possible, right? So it takes doing that research and all of that stuff that we talked about just to make sure that you're in the best position possible. So all of that in 2024. Let's be about our business. Let's be very intentional in 2024. Let's seek out diversity and opportunities in 2024. And let's continue in 2024. Let's keep our foot on the gas in 2024. No New Year's resolutions, because I don't want nobody in alive right now that's not doing nothing talking about, man, January 1st, I'm gonna start this sync stuff. Not when it's like, the 29th and you can start today, or you could have started yesterday. You're probably not gonna start. That's one of them. I'm gonna get this gym membership and be swole by summertime. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna be cut by summertime. No, you're not. You still gonna be flabby Freddy. So 2024 is looking good, right? The State of Sync in 2024 is looking good. It's going to be the season of the specialist in 2024. You know, those guys that are doing things to step away from the beaten path, because we talked about the fact that there's a lot of people, there's an influx of people that are interested. There's going to be a lot more playlists going out, pitching music or whatever. So you look for ways to make sure that your music stands out, your emails stand out, your playlists stand out. And that comes you know, from your social media all the way down to how you structure the email, how you name the tracks, the length of the tracks. Um, so on and so forth. We've gone over that. We can go over it again other times or whatever. But um, one of the main things that you can do sonically that we talked about last week is ear candy. We had a whole section about ear candy. This is talking about sound selection, structure, and things like transitions, rises, falls, drum drops, the seasoning things, man, the things that turn you from being an amateur cook into a hardcore chef. These are the things that really pop out in production, especially to someone who's tasked with, listening to submissions all day. It gets pretty mundane because people are just trying to get beats on TV, and a lot of people don't get it. Right. A lot of people think that the background music is, oh, I'll just send them this music. I'll just give them the music that I wasn't going to use for whatever. Or I'll just give them the skeletons I was going to use. No, it takes production, man. It takes intent. It takes, you try to make them sound, as good as you can make them sound, but within the purpose that it's intended for. So you don't put a bunch of lead instruments over the top or whatever, because these things are going to be distracting, taken away from the dialogue or what's going on the actual film. Like, you got to understand that you're creating an underscore, but within that, you be dope making that underscore, right? And you do these things. Now, you can't go ham with bouncing 808s and stuff like that because it's going to be distracting. But you can make sure that when that editor sits down and listens to your track, that there's diversity in that minute and a half. There's diversity in that 2 minutes. You got a couple quick little 1 bar, 2 bar intro, and then it transitions. It just doesn't just go into it. Transitions via a drop or a drum fill or something into that first section. Hopefully it's the hook, because the hook is going to smack them in the face with everything right after that intro. And then when you go into that next section, depending on what the beat calls for, it transitions into that next section. So right before that next one comes around, drop the drums out for the last one, the last two, you know, uh, do a drum fill or a riser or something right there in that empty space. Fill it up. Maybe not in that first one, but the next time you drop the drums around, and the next drop the drums out in the next section, do a riser. You know, the next one, do a drum fill or something. But add seasoning, man. Stop serving these bland ass macaroni and cheese with no seasoning in it. Like, put seasoning in your production. And if you don't know how to do it, um, I don't know, hit me in the DMs. I was thinking that maybe there'd be a YouTube video, but like, I've seen an epidemic of people just, producing mid-level production and not seasoning their meat up at all. Like, they're just throwing it on the grill and then browning it and snatching it off the grill. No salt and pepper or nothing. Basically, it seems like in sync, people are just doing what they feel like is necessary or what they feel like they can get away with. Um, or I dare I say that maybe that the lost art of real music production or thorough music production is just that. It's a lost art. I don't know. I hate to be negative. I don't want to say that or whatever, but hold on. Let me go to the comments real quick. LaDrizzle says, "Blessing. I just got in here. I'm Dre One. I will we watch from the beginning later. So how's everyone? What's up, man? Welcome. Thank you so much. I'll follow back, man. Let's give him some love. Got a new one in here. Yeah, it wasn't a huge turnout for the live this time. So I appreciate every one of you guys that came. Most of the guys are going back and watching the live stream after it's done or whatever. And I get that it's the end of the year. And like, we hustling. So like, there's a lot of people trying to get those playlists in and get stuff done um right now. So I get it. But welcome to the live stream, man. We do this every Friday. Um, I'm glad you're gonna watch it so you can see the win section and we can show everybody how we give love up in here and we support each other. Um, so Willie England says, research, research, research. These are the cheat codes. Thank you. I hit Google and search for hours sometimes. Being intentional about finding ways to add value. Yeah, you said a whole bunch of mouthfuls in that. And that's what it comes to. Because, like I said, the second you guys decided to get monetized with your music, you wanted $1 for your music, you became a company. You're providing a service and or a product, right? So, but because you have to hustle this, it's not just like, you're putting ads on television or whatever. Like it takes you emailing people and talking to people or whatever. In your hustle, you're going to get a lot further if your attitude is adding value instead of what they can do for you. Of course, you want them to do something for you. That's what you're contacting them for. They getting placements, you ain't, or whatever the situation. So that goes without saying. But you don't be like, hey man, I see you on. Let me get on with you. Let's win together. Like, nah, like you're not bringing value. Even though that might be the case, like your whole attitude and the way you move should be about how you can service others, how you can um, bring value to the situation and improve you know what they got going on already. That's from the music producer all the way up to the sync agent, to the music supervisor, to the, I don't care who you talking to. If you bring value to that situation, you are valuable to that situation. So that's dope right there, Willie. Fire emojis for that. Dope, dope, dope. I always got that game, man. Walter says, have a safe, blessed, and happy new year. All I have to go. Happy New Year, Walter, man. Be safe. We'll see you next year. Hustle Mindset 2024. That's right. Nico says, few days ago, I watched an interview with a composer who made almost 150 tracks in 1 year, but only saw like 50 bucks next year. The next year that grows exponential. 4 years later, the guy has 800 placements. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And I keep using the analogy about not watching the dirt. If you're planting the seeds and you're watering the seeds, there's no need to watch the dirt. There's so much metamorphosis and stuff going on up under that dirt that you don't see. That seed done broke open, and them branches are going down in the soil and sucking up the nutrients. What it's doing is preparing for your ride. It's preparing for that plant to sprout and to become a plant. But there's a whole lot of preparation that happens before that happens. It needs to build that foundation underneath so that mighty plant can stand. And that's what's happening. As long as you guys are learning and you guys are putting in the steps and planting them seeds and watering them seeds, you don't got to worry about looking at the dirt waiting for the shit to sprout up. It's gonna sprout up, right? And it might not sprout. It might look like a weed when it sprouts up, but eventually it's gonna flourish into something, because that's what this is. I keep telling you guys with this sync, it's not a per chance thing. There's only a percentage of it that's like per chance. But if you keep persistent at it, there's only so many people that are persistent at it. There's only so many people that learn the game and that keep their foot on the gas and stay in it till they win it. That's why you keep hearing these types of stories. Well, this person, they did this and they only had that, but they kept doing it. They were patient, and then next thing you know, blah blah blah. I'm that with me. Everybody on the team that's winning, that's their story. They were persistent. They hung with it. A lot of us, even people in this community, there are people around them, their peers, that had the same opportunity to get placements with them that didn't want to do it. I had a partner when I moved out here. He had the same meeting I had with me, with the dude that introduced me to Sync. He didn't want to do it. It was too much of a long game with him. He's a car salesman now, right? Making I won't even go there. Like, this is YouTube. I ain't gonna even go there. People try to get me for slandering him or whatever. But yeah, I hear he sells cars and he don't really do music like that anymore. It's crazy to me. So it's not for everybody. That's what I'm saying. So there's only for as many people as you see trying to get placements and talking about they want to get beats on TV and that kind of thing. There's a very, very small percentage of you that are actually going to see it through and wait until it happens. And all of you that do that end up getting placements. All of you that wait long enough, that do the steps and learn what you're supposed to learn, and then you pitch, 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 and you keep pitching. Eventually, something gonna happen. Brothers, I knew brothers back in the day. They didn't have no game at all. They wasn't going up to one bad woman and like spitting no conversation. They'll come in the club and holler at as many girls as they could. What's up, baby? How you doing today? Hey, pss, 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 that all that kind of stuff or whatever. And they always got one at the end of the night. Now they might not be, they might look like one of them end of the night girls, but the thing is that they just play the odds. Like these are dudes with no game. They probably live with their mama. They ain't got nothing particular to offer. They going to her house after the club or whatever, but still they not even bringing value to the situation, but they could still go into a situation and play the odds and come out winning. So think about what you guys could do if you're really doing your research, you're really bringing value, the music is good, the playlists are good, your social media is good, everything is good, right? Now you got to do is like, hey, hey, music supervisor, hey, hey, girl, hey, come here. In the way that you're supposed to do it, of course. I'm using that as a joke, but you guys hear what I'm saying. And then boom, you're gonna get one, right? And it's a funny thing about seeing a dude with a girl, like seeing a girl with a dude. When women see that, it makes the dude more attractive than seeing a single dude for some reason. I just maybe well if she want him, maybe I want him type thing or whatever. And it's kind of like that. Like once you get that first one and companies see that somebody rocking with you, like other people gonna rock with you, other companies gonna rock with you. Like the dude said up here in the comments, he said, uh um, who made 150 tracks in 1 year, but only saw $50, and the next year it grew and he's got 800 placements. See, that's, it's just what happens, man. It's just, and there's the guys that hung in there, they didn't do anything particularly special as far as like, oh, well, I do orchestral score for zombie movies or whatever. Like, it's not nothing like that. Like, they're doing background tracks just like the most of us are doing, like background tracks, hip hop or pop or whatever it is. Um, but they're doing them the way they're supposed to be done, and they're consistent in their pitching, their branding, their pitching, and this and that. Because ultimately the people that pick you, that want the music from you, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody that's like, okay, they're not going to disappear, they're really trying to do this. They're a professional. They're not a part-time music supervisor. I'm not a part-time sync agent. I do this 24/7. Those guys do that 24/7. They usually are so busy they can't have other jobs. You don't see sync agents, music supervisors driving Uber and that kind of stuff. Like, we ain't got time to do that, right? So we want the same thing. When we rock with people, we want to work with people who we know are going to be there in the long term. We want to rock with professionals, that move in a professional way. We got clients too. So super, super, super dope, Nico. Thank you for the comment. Nico, you're on the bus, man. Shout out to Nico, man. Fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. Yeah, Flabby Freddy. You're gonna have the same goal. It's gonna happen. LV Drizzle says, word claim music, Mitch, and production is a huge factor. Yeah, man, you still gotta be dope. Oh, thank you, LV, man. I'm so glad I posted on LinkedIn. I was thinking about that too, hoping it would reach people and bring people here. And you see people are welcoming you in here, man. So that's how we get down. Uh, sometimes we have 30, 40 people in here, 20, 30 people in here. And it's just a lot of love, man. I like those sessions where there's a ton of people because the lives, like we'll talk, I mean, the wins that we do at the beginning, we'll talk about wins for an hour, because people will be dropping in here like really with some gems, uh, and really giving me some stuff to talk about, it's really cool for me to see the different ways people are hustling in order to get these wins. It's really dope, man. Giving me some fuel for the fire. Super dope. Yep. Seed time harvest is spiritual and natural law. Oh, don't get me started, Drizzle. Don't get me started on the natural law and the universe and just don't just we God and like it's you could talk about from the religious aspect or the spiritual aspect, or you know, but in a lot of ways it all goes hand in hand. Like, pressure breaks pipes. And you know, we could go into, uh like, say for instance, I won't be long-winded about this, but we're going to go into bringing value. Okay, so one of the ways, to me personally, and this is my opinion, one of the ways that a person can really bring value to another person or to another situation is just by having good character, meaning how you treat people. Are you good to people? Are you an asshole to people? Are you hard to work with? Are you easy to work with? But your character has, like, almost everything to do with everything, because at the end of the day, this is music, and we do get to pick who we want to work with. It ain't always just based on how good your playlist is, right? Some people just, I've worked with a few people over the years who I had to stop working with just because they were so difficult to work with. There's a couple guys on the team right now I'm thinking about, like, cutting ties with, just because they always got more mouth than production, and the mouth is always some negative stuff, whatever, and then entitlement and some other stuff. And I won't go any further than that, but like, it's just crazy to me. Like, don't nobody got to work with you at the end of the day. So character takes a lot. Now, you wouldn't think that, some people got an attitude like, oh, it's why you judge, it doesn't care. That's personal, man. Like, my music is dope. Just use my music. And that's the thing. Nobody works for you guys. You getting your music on TVS because the music super is working with you. You getting your music into a catalog or uh, a sync agency, that's because they're trying to work with you, not for you. See what I'm saying? You're not paying them, so they're not working for you. So having that kind of attitude is like a not a good attitude to have, or whatever. So character is a lot. So as you guys are moving through the space or just moving in life or whatever, you know, be good to people. It's just simple as that. Stop worrying so much about what people could do for you. And then, sometimes think about what you could do for people. One thing that I realize is that when it comes to my hustle, what I do on a day to day, um, I start off the day just being happy that I woke up. You'd be surprised how dope your days go and how much easier big pills are to swallow when you are really, really, truly grateful for just opening your eyes in the morning. I'm so happy when I open my eyes in the morning that I'm always up before sunrise. Morning twilight is my favorite part of the day. The second the sky starts to get light, like the very, very first crack of dawn, where it goes from, like, it's still black outside to where on the horizon you can just start to see light a little bit. Like the very first moment that you can see light, that's my favorite moment. When I can look on the horizon and see that, I do that every morning. Every morning for I don't know how many years straight. I've missed a few, oversleeping, but like, that's my thing. And then when I open my eyes, I always, like, point to the sky, point to God, and I say thank you. And I'm really truly happy. Like, "Oh, I'm so happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm here." So once I realize that I'm happy that I'm here, then I get up and I pay attention to me getting up, because I'll get up out of bed. I'll put both my feet on the floor and realize I'm using both my feet to get on the floor. Ain't nobody there helping me get out of bed. I can see everything in the room. I could hear everything that's going on. I could get out of bed. I could stand up, walk, this and that. I watch TV. Like, I see those children's hospitals commercial where kids are born with childhood cancer and people are born with, like, so I pay attention to all of that stuff. I always pay attention to my blessings. I was talking to Guilty the other day, and Guilty was saying, he is like, if you have a glass and the glass has dirty water in it, um, filled up halfway with dirty water. He's like, if you take clean water and you keep filling that glass up and just keep pouring it until it's overflowing, eventually what's going to happen? That dirty water is not going to be there no more. It's going to be filled with clean water. So that's what you do. All of us are walking around with a dirty glass of water right now. All of us got some crap going on in our lives that we wish wasn't going on in our lives. But we also got a ton of stuff to be grateful for. And if you don't feel like you have a ton of stuff to be grateful for, at least you have waking up and being able to be here for another chance to change whatever it is you don't want going on. You know, you have a chance to see the people you love. You have a chance to make some music, or a chance to whatever it is floats your boat. You woke up today, you got more chances to do it. So you live in that gratitude, and then everything else ain't so bad. They ain't saying that it wipes everything away and sugarcoats everything, because it don't. Life be life, and we all know that. But I'm saying that if you're somebody that has to hustle to the top, like we all have to do, there's no blueprint for what we're doing. We chose music, we chose the hard route. If you have to hustle to the top, your attitude and your character is essential to get you there. Who you are and how you think matters in this hustle, not just think. I don't care what it is you're trying to do, but if you're hustling to get there, you have to interact with people. You got to win conversations. You got to leave a good impression on people, that kind of thing, or whatever. You know, your belief in yourself, your attitude, and your character is everything, right? So you wake up in gratitude. Be happy that you're here. Be happy that you're as healthy as you are. You know, I know some of you got some health issues. I know I do. But like I can see y'all. I'm on this camera. I can hear you. I can get up out this chair. I can walk and go in the kitchen, make me something to eat. I'm a blessed dude. I'm a blessed dude, and I realize that every single day when I wake up, and I like to see that sunrise every morning because it signifies some stuff to me. And this is just stuff that I've adopted in my life in order to help me keep moving forward, keep me pushing, keep me motivated, keep me in that right appreciative mindset every day. So when life does life and something pops in, and it's like, oh damn, so and so, my friend passed away, or whatever it is, like I could bounce back from that. Things happen, man. Grief can turn to depression, like poverty can turn to depression, like things be happening. So not to get all Dr. Phil on y'all or whatever, but all the stuff matters. So in 2024, I want everybody to be present, appreciative. And we talked about all of the other stuff, ways to level up or whatever, but go back and watch the video. I don't want to be a broken record. But without no New Year's resolutions, because we don't do that. If you do that, stop doing that, because you lying to yourself. Stop. Just stop it. We don't do that. We hustle all year and we keep hustling. But since the year is changing, what we are doing is reflecting. We're looking back upon the year and we're being smart and saying, okay, so yeah, I did hustle my ass off. I did do some things. Where can I improve at? So 2024 is the year of improvement. If you haven't got your first placement yet, you're gonna get your first one in 2024. And come here every Friday, Sync Hustle Mindset, where we talk about all things sync, hustle, and mindset. Because if your mindset is impaired, then your hustle is impaired. And we do everything we can to fix that so you can get to where you're trying to go, man. We keep your hustle tight. So with that being said, I'm gonna look in the comments real quick, open up a very quick Q&A with y'all, and then we can get up out of here. Yes, I'm watching the live, traveling back and forth from work. Thank you, Nico. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the love. I'm on LinkedIn daily, so it's my virtual office pretty much. Excellent. I need to post more on there. Thanks for following me, man. If I'm not following you, hit me on there and I'll get you back when I get off the live. God is good, unashamed. Exactly. That's Willie. Waking up is a blessing, no doubt. That's an understatement. It absolutely is. Nico says for sure. Thinking like that is more productive than being the center of the universe. Exactly. Nico says, man, that's crazy. I learned that in therapy and I try to apply that every day and the vibes really change. Yeah, exactly. You paint your reality, man. You live in the reality you want to live in. Sometimes you got to do some major overhauling to make that happen. That takes, changing who you're around, friends, you know, some real, breaking down and reconstructing some things in your life. But I always feel like life should be tailor made. Life shouldn't be just a series of circumstances that happens to you that you're reacting to. You should really construct, build, plan out as much of your life as possible. That don't mean down to a calendar schedule or whatever, but I mean like, really be around the type of people you want to be around. Look for the type of character traits in people that you appreciate, that you can relate to. Same thing with your business. Pay attention to the things you want to pay attention to. Be who you want to be, but don't just let things happen to you and then react to things. You have a lot more control over your life than you may think. Gratitude, patience, kindness, etc. All needed. No doubt. Definitely tune in every Friday, Lord willing. Okay, we'll do. I appreciate it, man. Okay, so we quick Q&A right now. There's only a couple of you. And if not anything, then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'll just down here for another couple minutes. Look in the comments real quick. So for you guys getting out for New Year's, be safe out there, man. Most of the people I know don't even do that type of stuff anymore. We be in the house where it's safe at. It just gets to, no matter what city you're in, it seems to be crazier and crazier each year. And so if you are out in the streets or whatever, be safe. And we're gonna see you next year. 2024, man. So Cherry says, grateful for new doors opening in music, even more so at my age and being a woman. I actually got a post coming up, Cherry, um, about the whole age thing. This is actually to rappers though, OG rappers that feel like they had bars back in the day that might have been disillusioned with music, gave it up or whatever. I don't want to give too much, but just gonna be letting them know that sync is an opportunity for them to, do their music. Too many of us that started doing music and then stopped doing it because it didn't take us where we wanted to go. And that's bull. Like, you should do music because you love it and that you have a talent for it. And sync licensing allows you to still live your normal life if you want to still keep working at, you know, the call center or the warehouse or wherever it is you're working, or working on your law degree or whatever it is you're doing. You can still do sync, right? um if you have music from, used to do something back in the day, like, there's still a need for that. Urban music is used from every time period. So um but yeah, thank you for that comment, man. Your age don't have nothing to do with nothing. You young, girl. Stop. Cut it out. Your age. You being a woman, though, I will say, like, this chauvinistic industry at some points, but usually the music industry, media industry is a little bit, women got to fight a little bit, and when it comes to making beats, everybody knows, like, you know we talk about all the great producers, Just Blaze, Tim, Neptunes, or whatever, really, but you want to know a dope producer, Michelle Ndege Ocello. You're welcome. Michelle Ndege Ocello. Happy New Year, Nico. Happy New Year. All right, y'all. I love y'all to death, man. For all of you guys that's been rocking with me all in 2023, I appreciate y'all. It's been a great ride. We've had some great posts. I wish I had time to do a recap video, but just look back over the streams and you'll see it's been a good time, man. So with that being said, if there's no more questions, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. And I'll see you guys in 2024. Level up in 2024, right? We already said all things we're gonna pay attention to. You know, I'm not gonna recap them. Look back at the video when I post it, and that's what's up, y'all, man. Happy New Year. Love y'all to death, and I'll see you in 2024. That's what's up. I'm the producer whisperer. Peace.